Everybody wants to sell what's already been sold. Everybody wants to tell what's already been told. What's the use in money if you ain't gonna break the mold? Even at the center of the fire, there is coal, and all that glitters ain't gold. And no, those aren't the words from this one right here, but those are the words from the great Prince, who was once considered the artist formerly known as Prince back in 1995 with the song Gold. And today is special because we are celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Gold Experience. Now, the Gold Experience came out September 26, 1995 on Warner Brothers and Paisley Park Records. I can't believe that it's been 20 years since this has come out. Whenever I talk about the Gold Experience, I'm always enthralled because, of course, I was young. I didn't really get into Prince's music as deeply as that when I was a little shorty. But as I grew older, I learned how to appreciate a lot of those albums that came out back in the 90s, 80s, and so forth. So, I just have an appreciation for the Gold Experience, and I can't believe that it's been 20 years. I sort of kind of feel old, even though I'm not old, but I do feel old just thinking about it. I mean, he was working on so many projects at this time. The Come album, which was released in 1994, was released right before the Gold Experience. And then right after the Gold Experience, he released an album called Chaos and Disorder. And what's so amazing about these two albums in particular were, first of all, they were considered contractually obligated albums, because Prince was going through a battle with Warner Brothers over ownership of masters and artistic control, and he felt like he wasn't getting the respect that he deserved from Warner Brothers. So, he was just working on so many projects, and he abandoned a lot of projects like the Glam Slam Ulysses project. He had the new Power Generation album, Exodus, which was their second album, but it wasn't released here in the United States. It was actually released in Germany, overseas. So, he was working on so many things. And he also released an official version of the Black Album to fulfill his contractual obligations. He had all these songs fleshed out on different projects, and the thing with the Gold Experience was, he said, I have a great album with the Gold Experience, but he didn't want to put it out, and then he withheld it, and then he pushed it back a little bit. I mean, so I think by late 1995, he was like, you know what, forget it, I'm just going to release it, and he just didn't have the focus in promoting it the way that it should have been promoted. I think it was the Letterman Performance where he did Dolphin, and I remember when Letterman, put up a picture of the album cover, and he said, "Oh, this is a new song by Prince, da 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 dee dee dee, has his new album, and it will be released never." Because Prince once declared that the Gold Experience was never going to be released. So he had this whole album project that he abandoned, but he eventually released. So there's just a whole unique history about this album and this period. Again, a very prolific period, a very musically rich period in Prince's career. I mean, from to make that big transition from the early 90s and so where, on the Gold Experience, he's doing he's going for a more organic rock, funk, soul, pop sound. That was really refreshing for an artist of his stature to even come out with at that time. The stylistic range of the Gold Experience is so rich and so heavy that it just makes my head spin. You have P Control, which is more of a hip hop, rock, funk type track. You have Endorphin Machine, which is rock. You have Shh, which is more of a soul song, a slow jam, soul ballad. You have We March, where he's going for a more social political vibe, but it's more of a hip hop rock type thing. The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, which was one of this album's singles, noble singles. It was actually released a year before this album even came out. I think The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, it came out, I think, right after Come, if I'm not mistaken, because he released it independently on Bellmark Records. And so, there was a whole EP. It was a big thing at the time. He had a video, he had the promo to push it, and it was just one of the big singles of his career. So we should all know. On this album, actually, The Most Beautiful Girl in the World is in a more remixed version. He remixed it specifically for this album. So that's cool. Dolphin, which is one of my favorite songs on this album, is a rock song. So yeah, you pretty much have a lot of styles. It's in the typical approach, of how we would look at a Prince album. You have a hodgepodge of styles and topics, and but just the way he does it on this album, so effortlessly, and so just with such an edge that I had never heard Prince go for at the time. This is one of the more interesting items from this period. It's actually the vinyl version of the Gold Experience. This was the US promo 2 LP set. A great piece. It's actually on yellow vinyl. I don't want to take it out, but I don't even think you could find this anywhere. But this is one of the rare items that came from this period. Still in its shrink wrapped cellophane, but it's a nice piece. It was a limited edition. They only printed, I think, 5,000 of these. So to know that I have a copy of it is crazy. This is 4,320. For him to release an album of this magnitude during this era said a lot about him. I don't know too many artists who could reinvent themselves as many times as Prince had. The look, the music, the videos, everything that he was going for during this time. The band. You have Sonny T, Michael Bland, just everybody. Everybody was on their A game. I will say that the Come album is a perfect complement to this album right here. It is like this album's darker cousin. Like, it is a very dark album, but if you pair them up together, they go hand in hand. And actually, I didn't know this about the Gold Experience, but Prince originally planned to release Come with the Gold Experience, the original configuration of the Gold Experience. He wanted those two albums to be released at the same time, but Warner Brothers, of course, they didn't want him to do it like that because they felt like he was oversaturating the market with music and all of this. Now, the Gold Experience commercially, I believe that it was only certified gold, which is ironic because the album is called The Gold Experience. So it only sold 500,000 units. I'm sure that is a miscalculation on Warner's part and SoundScan's part, but they certified it as gold. It also produced 6 singles, which include The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, I Hate You, Gold, Dolphin, Endorphin Machine, and P Control. So those were 6 singles. Prince just lacked interest in pushing the album because he had his battle with Warner Brothers, and at the time they weren't treating him, well, as he thought, they weren't treating him with the respect that he deserved as an artist. So I think when he put more pressure on Warner Brothers and when he put more pressure on the media, that situation became more heightened than the album itself. So this was definitely a very tense time in Prince's career, but it was also a rejuvenating time because he changed his name to the Unpronounceable Symbol. He was in talks of leaving Warner Brothers and starting his own imprint. Just a lot of stuff happened. I remember that period was for a lot of people, it was very weird. I do remember the Letterman Performance. I remember when I was young and I saw that performance and I didn't know what the heck to think. You know, I didn't even know that was Prince. I didn't even know as a young kid that was actually Prince, but it was. And you know, he was, yeah, I mean, that performance, it was a great performance. Weird in parts. I believe the last part, you know, he pretended like he shot himself, and Maite was kind of like his guardian angel or something of that sort, and you know, she recovered him or whatever, you know, but yeah, that was a pretty weird performance. I also remember the performance he did at VH1's Fashion Rocks award show, which was I think he did P Control. He was in a red suit and Maite was in a red get up, you know, outfit, and they did that song and they killed it. That was another high profile performance. I mean, I remember so many performances. I remember the Beautiful Experience. VH1 was really heavy on Prince at that time. That was back when VH1 used to do specials. You know, they used to do tributes, and they used to devote it to different artists. They used to have MJ Day, or they used to have a Prince Day, and they would just play all of their videos from back to back. And you know, back when the Gold Experience came out, and back with when Emancipation came out, they would play Prince's videos, and they would play performances and his movies, and of course, you know, they would highlight different things on Prince. So it was a big deal at that time. Yeah, it was really, that was really a great time to be a Prince fan. The album was a critical success as well. It got a lot of accolades. A lot of people claimed that it was his best since Sign of the Times. Vibe magazine famously dubbed it the best record he had done since Sign of the Times. And we can probably argue that this was the album that started that whole thing with critics where they would say, oh, well, this album is his best record since Sign of the Times and all of that. So, but you know, on its own, as it stands, The Gold Experience is one of the classic albums. I would say, I don't know if I would say it's the last great album in Prince's career, like so many other people credit it. But I do think that it was one of the last albums that really mattered in terms of sequencing, in terms of how the songs came together, in terms of conceptually, like putting together a body of work. I wish that all of those songs that he came out with throughout the, you know, 1993 to 1995 was just on one big package, and that would have been crazy. That would have been amazing. So yeah, what do you all think? I mean, do you think it's lived up to his reputation? Do you think this album is really one of his best? Do you think it's one of his worst? Are you kind of lukewarm about it? Put it down here in the comments section. I want to read what you all, I want to see how you all feel about the Gold Experience. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up if you like this video, please. I need all the support that I can get. I thank you all so much for watching my content. I couldn't do this without you all. I really appreciate all the love and appreciation and generosity that you all have given me to push out these videos. Listen, I love Prince and I love music in general, so I will be doing more in the upcoming future. But I want to thank you all for watching this video, and happy Gold Day, the 20th anniversary. Can't believe it. Great album. See you later. Peace and be wild.